VI1EBFT, sow-shaped morning light spills through the blinds, pale and indifferent. My laptop screen waits, blank, like a mirror for the mess I made of devotion. I open the banking app. Numbers march across the screen in neat, accusing lines. Tuition for Leo. Wedding deposit for Mai. Emergency fund for Dad's business deal. 6 years. $200,000 gone in silence. Each transfer came with a thank you text that aged badly. You're a lifesaver. You're the best sister. You understand, don't you? Yes, I always understood. That's the problem. Coffee cools beside me, untouched. My reflection in the black screen looks older than 33. The kind of tired that sleep can't fix. I scroll through old photos. Family vacations I paid for but barely remember enjoying. Birthdays where I held the camera instead of the cake. Their smiles wide, mine polite. I zoom in on one picture. Dad with a drink in hand, laughing at a joke I can't hear. Mai glowing in her wedding gown, veil shining under rented lights. Behind them, I stand half out of frame, credit card tucked in my clutch. Invisible, dependable, replaceable. The words loop in my mind like a broken mantra. Invisible. Dependable. Replaceable. My phone vibrates. A new message from Mom. Did you hear about Leo's new project? He might need help again. Of course. Need never ends, it just changes shape. I don't reply. Instead, I type a note in my journal app. A single line. How much does love cost before it stops being love? The cursor blinks, waiting, but I have no answer. I close the app, open my email. Invoices, reminders, donation receipts, all proof that generosity has a receipt. My chest tightens as I realize it's not kindness I've been offering. It's penance. For not being enough, for being too much, for existing as the family's safety net. I remember Mom's voice when I said no once. Don't be selfish, Lynn. Family helps family. The guilt stuck like honey, sweet, slow, impossible to wash off. Now it tastes bitter. The clock on my desk ticks louder than it should. Outside, traffic hums its endless loop. I take a deep breath and whisper to the empty room. They don't love me. They love what I can fix. The truth lands heavy, but solid. Something inside shifts, like a door unbolting after years of rust. I open the window. Cold air rushes in, sharp and clean. Somewhere in that breath, a new word forms quietly. Enough. I whisper it again. Enough. The city doesn't answer, but for the first time, I don't need it to. My phone buzzes once more. Mom again. Don't forget to send the transfer by tonight. I power it off. Let the silence fill the room. Let the world, for once, not take from me. For the first time, the quiet feels like peace. VI1EBFT, sow shape, the afternoon sunlight glints off my phone's screen. A new message pops up in the family group chat. Dad's 60th birthday at the coastal resort, $2,500 per person. Venmo Mom by Thursday. Heart emojis follow like confetti after a cheap parade. I stare at the numbers until they blur. The same pattern, the same script, the same assumption. Of course I'll pay. Of course I'll rescue. Of course I'll smile while doing it. My thumb hovers above the keyboard. Then something small but solid settles in my chest. No. I open Venmo. Type $1. Add a note. Congrats. Send. The app chimes softly, almost polite. For the first time in years, the sound feels like victory. Seconds later, my phone erupts with calls. Mom first. Then Dad. Then Mai. Then Leo. Each one blinking across the screen like sirens. I let them all ring out. I sip my coffee and breathe. An email from work slides in. Quarterly report request. Numbers. Predictable, calm, loyal things. They make sense. People don't. An hour passes before I check my voicemail. Mom's voice trembles between anger and disbelief. What's this about $1? Are you okay? This isn't like you. She's right. It's not like me. It's like someone new. Someone tired of buying love with interest rates. I shut the phone off again. The room hums in the quiet, almost approving. Later that evening, I open my laptop and start closing accounts. Joint savings with my parents. Gone. Emergency fund with Mai's name on it. Closed. Automatic payment for Leo's insurance. Cancelled. Each click feels like slicing a thread. Each confirmation email feels like oxygen. A strange mix of guilt and relief pools in my stomach. Guilt has been my family's favorite currency. But relief, that's mine. The door buzzer startles me. Security at the front desk. Miss Lin, there's a Mr. Tran here. Says he's your father. My throat tightens. Tell him I'm in a meeting. Pause. Also, remove him from my approved visitor list. The guard hesitates. Yes, ma'am. The line clicks off. I stare at the reflection on the dark window. My face looks calm, almost serene. I remember the girl who would have run downstairs crying, begging for peace. Now she's gone. What's left is a woman who finally understands silence can be sacred. My email pings again. A message from my lawyer friend, Than. Subject line, financial recovery consultation. My reply is short. I'm ready. The cursor blinks, steady and patient. For years, I thought love meant giving until I disappeared. Now I see it's about drawing lines no one can cross. Outside, the city lights shimmer like tiny acts of rebellion. I whisper to them softly. I'm done being the family bank. The night doesn't argue. It just nods back proud. VI letter 1 EBFT, South Shape, the first knock comes at dawn. Heavy, deliberate, echoing through my apartment walls. Lin, open the door. My father's voice, thick with authority and guilt. I freeze by the kitchen counter, spoon halfway to my coffee. Another voice joins, Mai's sharp and shrill. You can't just cut us off like this. We're your family. The words stab the air like accusations. I set the spoon down. Let the silence answer for me. The knocking turns to pounding. Then to pleading. Then to anger. You'll regret this, my father shouts. Regret has been my inheritance. Not today. Mrs. Nguyen from next door cracks her door open, eyes wide. She mouths, you okay? I nod once. She pulls out her phone, probably calling building security. Smart woman. The shouting fades when footsteps echo down the hall. I exhale slowly, the breath shaking on its way out. My phone buzzes again. 20 missed calls. 10 new messages. Mom's voice fills my voicemail, trembling with rehearsed panic. Lin, please, this isn't you. We're worried sick. If they were worried, it was never about me. It was about access. Access to my money. Access to my silence. I delete the messages one by one. Each swipe lighter than the last. Later that morning, Than calls. They're contesting the recovery claim, he says. They say you acted out of emotional distress. I laugh. They've been distressing me for 33 years. He chuckles softly, then turns serious. Stay strong, they'll push hard. You're changing the balance of power. Balance. What a strange word for a family that only knew taking. By noon, an email from my father arrives. Subject, this has gone too far. He lists every sacrifice they ever made. Every birthday gift. Every meal. Every manipulated memory turned into debt. At the end, a single line burns the screen. You owe us for everything we gave you. I stare at it until my vision blurs. Then I type 3 words. No, I don't. Send. The whoosh of the email feels like release. That evening, the intercom buzzes again. This time, 2 uniformed officers stand outside. Miss Lin, we received a wellness check request from your family. I almost laugh. I'm fine, I say, stepping aside so they can see. Apartment spotless. Documents neatly stacked. No sign of crisis, only clarity. The younger officer studies me quietly. Her eyes soften. Families panic when they lose control, she says. Be careful, document everything. She hands me a card before leaving. When the door closes, I lean against it, trembling, not with fear but relief. Someone finally sees it. Someone understands. That night, I light a single candle. Its glow fills the room, small but steady. Outside, my phone keeps buzzing, desperate for attention. Inside, I watch the flame dance and whisper to myself. This time, I'm the one who doesn't answer. The candle burns low. Peace, bright and fragile, holds. VI letter 1 EBFT. South Shape, the lawyer's office smells of paper and quiet judgment. Than slides the audit across the table. $213,000. 6 years of withdrawals. 6 years of silence. It's all here, he says. They'll have to liquidate assets if they refuse repayment. I nod, my hands steady on the cool wood surface. I thought this moment would feel cruel. Instead, it feels clean. Outside, rain taps the window like applause in slow motion. When I leave, the city feels sharper, more alive. Every raindrop, a reminder I'm still here. That night, I sit on my couch surrounded by nothing. No framed photos. No birthday cards. No reminders of the people who drained me dry. Just me breathing. The air tastes new. I open my notebook. First page, start again. Next morning, therapy begins. Dr. Min's office smells like lavender and old books. Tell me why you're here, he says softly. I look down at my hands. I thought love meant sacrifice, I whisper. If I gave enough, they'd finally see me. He waits. The silence is gentle, not demanding. What did you learn? That love without respect is just control wearing perfume. He smiles faintly. We sit in the quiet until my shoulders unclench. I leave lighter. Weeks pass. Therapy becomes a rhythm. Coffee, tears, small revelations. My heart relearning its own language. At night, I attend a support group in the church basement. Plastic chairs, bad coffee, real stories. Sandra, retired teacher. Mark, divorced father. All of us bleeding money and love into the same void. We share our pieces. Sandra squeezes my hand. It wasn't about the money, was it? No, I say. It was about betrayal. Heads nod. Mark adds quietly. The guilt fades slower than the pain. We laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's true. When I return home, I light a candle on the windowsill. The wax pools slowly, forming a soft, uneven heart. I take it as a sign. Healing isn't perfect either. Days slide into months. I stop checking my phone for their messages. I stop apologizing for the silence. I start running in the mornings, just to feel my lungs working for me. My apartment grows warmer, filled with small plants and soft music. I paint a wall yellow because it makes me smile. No one to tell me it clashes. Freedom hums under my skin like electricity. Sometimes guilt knocks, uninvited. But I don't open the door anymore. The world outside hasn't changed. But I have. I no longer flinch when I say no. I no longer shrink when I take up space. Healing isn't a straight line. It's circles, spirals, falling and standing again. And for the first time in my life, every step belongs to me. VI letter 1 EBFT. South Shape, the pottery wheel hums softly under my hands. Clay spins, wet and alive between my fingers. I breathe with it. Steady. Centered. Sandra's voice floats through the studio. Beautiful work, Lynn. You're finding balance. I smile faintly, eyes on the bowl forming in front of me. Then the door opens. The sound stops my heartbeat. A voice I know too well fills the air. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was awful. I look up. My father stands in the doorway. Thinner now, grayer, smaller somehow. Sandra greets him cheerfully. You must be our new student. Wheel number 6 is open. He hesitates, glancing at me, then nods. He sits across from me, clumsy with the clay. The silence stretches like wire between us. He presses too hard, water splashing his shirt. Sandra moves to help. Gentle pressure, clay doesn't respond to force. Her words land heavier than she knows. He tries again, slower this time. My fingers move automatically, shaping the lip of my bowl. Each turn of the wheel feels like an echo of years gone wrong. The dinners, the loans, the expectations. Everything he molded me into without asking. When class ends, I start to pack my things. Lynn, he says quietly. I pause, not looking up. Could we talk, just a few minutes? The old instinct stirs, to keep the peace, to listen. But my new self is steadier. 5 minutes, I say. Outside, the air smells like rain and asphalt. He leans against his old car, eyes tired. We're renting near here, he begins. The house, well, you know about the house. I nod. He laughs softly, without joy. Your mother's working at a jewelry counter now. I'm consulting part-time. He stares at the ground. It's strange, living within our means for the first time. That's good, I say simply. I hope it works out. He looks up, eyes glassy. You were always the strong one. I didn't want to see it. Silence. Then his voice breaks. What we did, it was wrong. We took from you and you kept giving. We used your love like a resource. I swallow hard. The apology, I never thought I'd hear, stands trembling between us. I hope you're okay, I manage. He nods. The class meets every week. I can switch days if it's easier. It's fine, I say. We're adults. We can share a room. Hope flickers in his eyes. Maybe we could get coffee sometime, talk properly. Not yet, I answer. Maybe someday, but not now. He accepts it with a slow nod. When he offers his hand, it's just that, a hand, not a claim. I shake it briefly. No manipulation. No debt. Just recognition. He walks away, shoulders bent but lighter. I stand still, breathing in the damp air. The clay on my hands has dried, cracking softly as I flex my fingers. It falls away easily. So does the past. VI letter 1 EBFT. Sow shape, the scent of coffee drifts through the new apartment. Sunlight spills across half-unpacked boxes. My pottery wheel sits in the center of the room, streaked with clay. Laughter echoes from the kitchen. Happy birthday, Lynn. Sarah waves a spatula like a flag. Monica hangs paper streamers above the table. Real friends. People who showed up without being asked. My chest tightens with something unfamiliar. Peace. Where should we put the gifts? Monica asks. Gifts, I laugh. You didn't have to. Sarah cuts me off. We wanted to, because that's what friends do. I blink hard, smiling through the blur. The doorbell rings. Annie bursts in, balancing a cake box. Sorry, the bakery was slow. Butterfly design, just like you said. Butterflies. I remember Mom's old cakes, pastel wings made of sugar. The memory stings, but gently now. They lead me to the living room wall. Floating shelves gleam under the morning light. My bowls and vases line the surface, crooked, imperfect, alive. Each one a story of Tuesday nights and self-discovery. The blue one's my favorite, Sarah says. You've got talent. A year ago, I would have deflected. Now I simply say, thank you. My phone buzzes. A text from Mom. First week at the store went well. Tiring but good. I read it twice, then set the phone face down. No anger. Just distance. The newspaper on the table catches my eye. A small ad near the bottom. Piano lessons with Leo Tran. My brother finally teaching for a living. No loans. No favors. No guilt. Cake time, Annie calls. Candles flicker, bright and steady. 34 little flames, none forgotten. Voices rise in song. For the first time, I don't feel like an outsider in the celebration. When the song ends, the room quiets. The moment feels full, of air, of light, of truth. A knock interrupts us. Monica checks the peephole. It's a delivery. I open the door. A small brown parcel sits on the mat. No sender. Just my name in familiar handwriting. Inside, wrapped in bubble paper, lies a clay mug. Uneven glaze. Crooked handle. A note tucked inside reads, "Made this myself, no strings attached." My hands tremble slightly as I set it down. Sarah watches carefully. You okay? I'm better than okay, I whisper. Later, after everyone leaves, I place the mug on an empty shelf. Not hidden. Not displayed. Just there, like forgiveness that no longer demands a price. Outside, evening settles gently over the city. I drive to the beach, the same one where the old party was meant to be. Waves crash softly under a pink sky. My phone rings, Monica checking in. Do you regret any of it? She asks. I pick up a seashell, smooth and unbroken. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, I say. It's survival. I toss the shell back to the sea and watch it vanish beneath the foam. For years, I mistook love for debt. Now I understand its choice. The sun dips below the horizon, gold bleeding into blue. Tomorrow, I might drink coffee from that crooked mug. Or I might not. Either way, the choice is mine. VI letter 1 EBFT, South shape, the morning light spills through the window, soft and forgiving. Steam rises from the mug, the crooked one, uneven but steady. I hold it carefully, feeling its warmth seep into my palms. Outside, the city hums, alive but no longer overwhelming. My shelves gleam with imperfect pottery, each piece a small triumph. I sip slowly, letting the quiet stretch around me like peace. No calls. No demands. No guilt. Just breath and sunlight, and the steady pulse of my own heartbeat. For the first time in years, my life fits me perfectly. Not smaller. Not borrowed. Mine. The phone buzzes once on the counter. I glance at the screen, then let it fade to black. I don't owe anyone an answer anymore. I step onto the balcony, hair catching the wind. The world smells of rain and possibility. Somewhere below, laughter rises, faint and distant. I close my eyes and whisper to the open sky. I'm free. The word feels light, like a prayer finally answered. And for once, it's enough.